So I went to elementary, junior high, and high school with this gentleman named Kyle. We got reconnected on social media years ago. He was super kind, really encouraging when I first started sharing about Plexus. I specifically remember him even liking a couple of my posts. I reached out to him. He and his wife are both in the medical field, and so that's something they're really passionate about, just health and people and fitness. And I reached out to him. He said that they were interested in trying some samples. I put together this amazing sample packet, hand delivered it to them, followed up, and then just never heard anything else. And then a couple of years later, I realized that he had unfollowed me on social media. And so for a while, you guys, I was just kind of in my head, like, he must have been annoyed with me. I must have really offended him. He must not believe in what I'm doing for him to like unfollow me. And in the grand scheme of things, it's like, I'm a married woman. This is a married man. Like, it doesn't matter if he follows me or not, but I was getting in my head, and some of you may be like this. And so I want to share with you a little bit of my experience, because I was getting in my head. And because of that, I was starting to tell myself stories. I was starting to assume that I knew his story. I assumed I knew why he had unfollowed me, what he was thinking. Oh, everybody else must be thinking that way too. And so I started to shrink back a little bit. When I would see him, I would just feel embarrassed. I would feel maybe a little ashamed too. But I wanted to share with you. I saw something on social media today that made me think about him, and I just went over to his page real fast, and it's open, it's public. And you guys, he is selling a different network marketing company supplement that holds no candle to us. But the fact remains that I had all these thoughts in my head about how he didn't agree with what I was doing, and he thought I was annoying, and he is now going and doing something very similar, but with a different company. And so I think that made me stop in my tracks. Along with yesterday, I saw a friend of mine, and she is doing some sort of like digital marketing thing. And she made a post about how much money she's making and said, if you want to learn more, type webinar or something. And multiple people, mutual friends of ours, women that I love and respect that have been around network marketing, marketing for a long time, so many of them commented like, hey, yeah, I'd be interested to know. And that again gave me that confidence of people want to know what we're doing. People want to have this opportunity where they can be making money from home. People want to be healthy. People want supplements. So just because you have somebody or a few people who unfollow you on social media, or you see people are watching you on social media but never talk to you, and you start to tell yourself all these stories, or you have people who've joined you or want samples and then they just kind of fall off. Like, we tell ourselves these stories, and then oftentimes we let ourselves believe them, and then we start believing all these things that are not actually true. And then that derails our belief, that derails the way that we show up to our business, and then ultimately that derails our business. And so I just, when I get to that place, I like to sit back, and I'll have a minute where I might be sad, and I might like, oh gosh, like, this person quit or whatever, a pity party for 2 seconds. But then I actually like sit up straight. I write out a list of like, this is positive, this is positive, this is a win, this is a win, this is a win. And I actually made a post in our Diamond page a couple of months ago asking what some of our leaders are doing with their teams when they're growing. And Amber Miller is a Diamond I deeply respect and admire. And that was one of the things that she said, is that every day, at the end of her day, she writes in her journal wins from that day. So then she can be reflective and go back and see the wins that she had from that week. If she has something hard or there's an obstacle or some sort of hiccup in her day, she can go back and see the positives. And so I think when we focus on the negatives of so-and-so's unfollowed me, so-and-so has stopped doing the business, so-and-so has stopped doing the products, when we focus on those things, that expands. So then everybody's quitting, everybody's stopping their business, everybody hates you, everybody wants to stop following you because you're not adding value. Like when we focus on something, it expands. So why not, instead of focusing on these stories we're telling ourselves that probably are not true, 99% of them are not true, why don't we focus on the truth? Why don't we focus on the wins, the things that are working, the way that we are showing up to our business? Why don't we focus on the things that we can take control over? We can't control if Kyle from elementary school unfollows you on social media, but you can control the way that you are showing up with consistency, the way that you're showing up to your business, the excellence, the way that you're showing up to your business with great customer care and love for other people. If you've not read this John Maxwell book, Success is a Choice, there's a section in here about demonstrating courage. And I think in our line of business, belief and courage are so vital because this is very much a mindset business. Because we're dealing with people and we're telling ourselves stories and we have hardships and obstacles. I love this quote. Getting ahead in a difficult profession requires avid faith in yourself. That is why some people with mediocre talent, but with the inner drive, go much farther than people with vastly superior talent. Do you hear that? Like having faith in yourself, believing in yourself. And so if you believe that these products can help so many people, because they can, then have faith that what you're sharing is good. When you're reaching out to people in hopes that you can help them, maybe you can help solve a problem for them. Trust yourself that what you're doing is good and it's helping other people. One other quote I wanted to read from this chapter, the Demonstrating Courage, says this. It's from advice columnist Ann Landers. She said, expect troubles as an inevitable part of life. And when it comes, hold your head high, look it squarely in the eye and say, I will be bigger than you. You cannot defeat me. Adversity is always a partner of progress. I love that. Adversity is always a partner of progress. Anytime we want to move forward, obstacles, difficulties, problems, and predicaments are going to get in the way. We should expect nothing less. And so if you're here and you're having some hardships, you're telling yourself these things that are really starting to affect your belief, starting to affect your business, understand that you are telling yourself stories that you don't know if they're actual truth. So go back to the things that are true. Go back to the wins that you are seeing in your business, with your customers, with the way that you're showing up and serving other people. Go back and take a look at the wins of like your heart in here is good and pure and your desire is to help other people. And if some people don't understand that, that's okay. That's not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to show up with excellence and love for other people. One last thing. I listened to a really great podcast. It's a John Maxwell executive podcast. And there was a gentleman on there named Scott Wazowski or something. Sounds like a Monsters Inc. dude, but his name is Scott something. And he talks about this legendary business and how to build it. And it's a 5-step system, basically. And in it, he says, now more than ever, people want to feel seen and people want to feel heard. And what I love about our business is, you guys, we get paid to see and love and serve other people. So it may not be their timing yet. You might have people who are watching you on social media that never say anything, but you are casting hope and you are casting vision to so many people when you don't give up and when you believe in what you're doing and you do it with operational excellence. So keep that in mind. Go and write down your list of wins every day. Don't tell yourself stories and believe them unless you know that they are truth.